All right. We are live. We are back. And do we have a juicy one for you today? Welcome everybody to Mic'd Up with AJ and TJ. I'm your host, AJ, and of course I have my co-host, the face that runs the place. TJ, how you doing today?
What's going on, everybody? I'm doing amazing. And yes, AJ, you are not joking. Guys, this will be one where you don't even have to necessarily watch us, okay? Just go ahead, throw your AirPods in, headphones on, get to walking. Because yes, it is a juicy one today. And we have none other to thank for this than Complex. Specifically at Complex Sneakers on Instagram, but we know the actual company themselves, brand themselves as Complex. So if you are not living under a rock, you all witnessed the article posted that was written by, I believe his first name is Matt, and Matt's name I
Matt
feel
Welty.
throughout.
You know the funny thing? Matt Welty is a friend of mine. I just looked at it. I didn't even realize Matt wrote this article. Oh my God. Matt.
All right, Matt, well, you got some explaining to do to AJ on the back end, but for us today, we're talking about this. Now, it's interesting because we're really just jumping ahead in episode counts. We were going to have an episode anyway. Focused just on resell, the fact that it is a very natural part now of sneakers in themselves. I don't think we're ever getting away from it. I think they will continue to thrive and exist and evolve as the sneaker game itself evolves. But it's a very polarizing topic for people because you have some that despise it with all their might, and you have others where they're fine with it. It doesn't really affect them. Now I'm a little bit in the middle, and AJ, I think, are kind of in the same boat where we know resellers. We don't knock them for illegal hustle, for putting everything into it, because it's not an easy business. It takes a lot. It takes capital up front. It takes organization. It takes building trust and a rapport with those you're sourcing the sneakers from, and then your clientele who is buying these sneakers at a high price. So it's not easy by any means, but we know whose expense it's at, and it's not at the brands, because the brands are still selling out. It's for all of those, the sneakerheads, the dying breed. We just want to wear our kicks, man.
So yeah, see, again, TJ, we want to make this very clear. We do not have an issue with resellers at all, period. You can quote that. Like some of my closest friends are resellers. Same with TJ. We know resellers. We know people who own stores who resell stuff. We are talking about the people. I don't know how to say that. More of like who are taken away from the culture a little bit, right?
And again, we can go back and forth, right? Is there a right way? Is there a wrong way to do things?
We just got to be careful on what we're saying. Not we, but me, because it's one of those, like, it's a touchy subject for a lot of people, and I don't want anything to get taken out of content. Like, because again, we don't hit on anybody.
Don't, like, again, so reselling in itself, it's not some phenomenon that is just restricted to sneakers. Reselling is just simply the action of you buy something at the retail price and you sell it at a markup, right? I mean, that's almost what actual businesses do. They have a cost to manufacture something and they sell it to you at the MSRP, and everything else is factored in, right? Their materials and paying for employees and everything else. But for a reseller, they are simply charging you a premium price because they have it and the demand is there, but the supply is not there. It's not in the same abundance, which means they kind of hold some leverage there in the market. Because reselling is something that happens in a lot of different areas, I don't have a problem with it. It's legal. Can pay taxes on it and go about their day. And depending on if you are emotionally invested, I think, in the area that a reseller may be in, I feel like that's when it starts to affect you. If it's something you don't care about, you probably don't have an issue with resellers. But for sneakers, this is passion. There are stories behind it. There are memories behind it. Our childhoods are linked to it. And so I think that's why people are so enraged by it. And so more importantly, with Complex, the article that Matt wrote,
Matt,
it's all known resellers. And I don't mean the run of the mill, I cop a few pairs and I maybe make 50 to $100, profit for each pair. No, what kind of resellers are we talking about here, AJ?
We're talking about people who make thousands a month. Like, so that's where it comes back to when TJ saying it is a legit job. You think about it. Car dealers, they're not paying what the stickers are. They're of course buying it or getting it at a cheaper price. And what are they doing? They're reselling you the car. Now, when there's certain cars come out, and like for example, I believe the Hellcat when it was, or the Demon, whatever it was called, like crazy, they were marked up 50, 60, sometimes 100,000 over sticker. What is that? A reseller.
Yeah, it's a reseller.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that there's certain people that are just making a living off of it. Hey, I have a daytime job. TJ has a daytime job.
Yep.
That's how we make our living. These people, the resellers, let's call it the sneaker resellers, because there's resellers is such a
If people aren't vested in something else, they don't care about it being resold, right? But they
yeah
care about sneakers. So for the sneaker reseller, right, they can possibly work for themselves. I'm not saying work for themselves solely. So it may be their sole source of income. And for some that have
yeah
made this into a highly profitable business, they have to run it like a business. They
yeah
have to watch the markets that, we just look at the release calendar essentially, and we can go by that. No, they need to look at the release calendars. They need to tap in with whoever their sources are to try to get a jump on what is the stock going to be. How many are you getting certain sizes that, I know will sell well if you're thinking to yourself, if you're a sneaker reseller, and then your clientele, what are they after? Because there are some where their clientele may only be GRs. And that's fine. Their clientele may also be only collabs. So that's a little bit more difficult to get your hands on all the time. So you're going to charge more depending on where you have to go. I know resellers that they put in that work. Like they fly out to go get pairs. They make long trips to go get pairs. And for them, it's worth it. The ROI in itself is worth it. But in terms of what it's doing on a massive scale, like botting and the frustration that people go through every single sneaker release and drop on sneakers, it's ridiculous. Like I've even seen people complaining about Adidas drops now. So where we are, I think we're already battling that. And then Complex only added fuel to the fire.
yeah, because it's literally putting this guy. I mean, of course, he talked to him. So it said that he originally started making $400 or $500 a month.
Right.
His first 3 years, he started making 3,000. Now this man, after six years, is making 6,000 a month. He's making more money than a lot of people who are working 9 to 5s. But at the end,
they're working hard 9 to 5.
but at the end of the day, the resellers are still putting in the work. Like TJ said, you have to fly out. You have to make connections. You might have to pay certain people like, hey, just give me a heads up when this is dropping. Like, you're not just going to walk into a store and buy 500-600 pairs. No, you have to make sure you work in that. And okay, let's just say this. There's some resellers that I know personally do not pay retail, right? Okay. They have to pay over because these stores are probably like, well, if I'm selling it to you, I can just bump the price up. But technically in store, they're not supposed to if they're getting.
If you have a contract,
yeah,
brand, you can't go above MSRP.
But what they can probably do is like, hey, I'll sell you these, but you got to throw me a little something under the table, which
that only makes sense, right? Because at some point, they're standing with that particular brand. It could be in jeopardy. Now, we don't know, but it could be if at any point the brand isn't happy with you, as they call quote unquote backdooring pairs to individuals. Now, the backdooring for me, it doesn't always have to be ahead of schedule for an actual drop. It could still be you just simply making sure a certain individual gets X amount of pairs. Like it's still being funneled somewhere. So again, they're putting in the work. And I think this is what it comes back to for me, specifically for this article, what we're going to dive into. I really think Complex, truth be told, I just feel like it's capping for the culture. That's what I feel like, because they've immersed themselves totally into it. And Complex, you know them for sneakers now, among a multitude of other things, but you do know them for sneakers.
Yeah.
And they would love to say, oh, I'm for the culture. First and foremost, you're a media company. So that's what you're about. You want traffic, you want clicks, you want people to flock to your site, you want attention on you, you want things going through you, you want brands paying you to advertise a certain way, to spin something, give a perspective a certain way. And it's showing. I feel like this article is absolutely showing that, because just because you can do something doesn't mean in theory you really should do it. Like, yes, Matt, you could have wrote this story. Did it need to be written though? Because yeah, it's a part in here where he said,
Uh,
this is a problem right now because the people who care and know a lot about sneakers rarely exist anymore.
mhm.
I wonder why we don't exist anymore. Probably because of articles like this that help perpetuate the entire idea that everyone should just stop buying sneakers because you love the story, you love the design, you love the materials, you love the execution. No, abandon that. Just go make a quick buck.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it almost feels like. And
S-
then he touches on, oh well, knowing the meaning behind it, right? The sneakers,
mhm.
he feels that's 100% important.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think they.
At what point do you think anyone is caring at all about the story behind a shoe if they're just trying to flip it?
Yeah.
Like, why
And
do you care about the story? And I'm saying this also from even being in a creative space on sneaker YouTube, where if the only thing you're focusing on in your content is a shoe gonna sit or sell or hold it or drop it now, quick flip, long-term investment, you don't care about the damn story. You don't care. The
mhm.
story means nothing to you. You are just
Yeah.
looking at the financial upside for yourself. So I think at this point, stop trying to sell me on you caring about a story. I don't think you care about a story at all.
Yeah. And there's some parts of this where the way they were trying to promote the whole reselling bot, but at the end they were like throwing little jabs, like here and there, which kind of it's kind of like one of those like, okay, yeah, I understand that they tried not to be like, hey, so one side, like this is what's going on in the culture. This
Right.
is not the culture. This is, if people say that this is the sneaker culture, I need to get out of the game right now because I've been doing this long time, 23 years, and I've seen it all. I've seen from times where we had to stand on the side of the road, and our reselling was not this. Our reselling was buy two pairs because you were allowed. Back in the day, you can stand in line. I mean, now it's kind of the same depending where you go. You can
Yeah.
buy two pairs. Our goal was buy two pairs, sell one, make, and then pay for the other one. So pretty much the goal was to make one.
Enough where your pair was covered. It was as if you didn't
Facts.
spend any money out of pocket. That's all you want.
That's it. We just wanted enough. We just wanted enough to cover the original pair. That's what our resell. When people say, "Oh, you used to resell," no, I used to. I was smart. I tried to make my pair free,
That was it.
and I mean that's pretty much it. And now they're talking about like, hey, you make more. You don't make as much money in bulk than bots and whatnot. But like I said, we went from standing in line, paying for something free, to then start seeing Nike Talk. When Nike Talk was on, that's how we got our information. Now everybody and their mothers is like a freaking media company. Like this is dropping, this is dropping, this is dropping, and one piggybacks off the other. Now there's a lot of wrong information that goes out, but at the end of the day, look, media is media. It's like TMZ. I'm surprised somebody hasn't opened a page called TMZ Sneakers. If somebody does, you need to pay me my check.
Not gonna lie, I feel like complex is that because when you
Mm,
look at TMZ and some of the stories they even post, I understand it that uh celebrities don't always feel like they are quote unquote normal people because of this status that they've
mhm,
reached. And oh, you've put yourself in a space where we can speculate about your life and it can be entertainment. But even then, I still look at TMZ like, did you need to post this? Did you
mm.
need to highlight this about someone's life? Probably not. So Complex does the same thing. Look at how many cringy things they post related to sneakers of somebody
Mhm.
needing attention. So they're pouring cereal and milk into their shoes and eating
Oh
out.
my god.
Like, when did you not receive enough attention as a child? And now you're looking to the internet to hopefully fulfill that role for you. I don't know where it happened. But
And
there,
that was another crazy thing. That was another crazy thing. People were reselling cereal.
yeah, that's what
What the,
we are. We are at the point where people bought Travis Scott cereal to resell.
they resold this man's cereal box.
Back in
Like,
the day, I just wanted cereal because there was a toy inside. I wanted cereal because my favorite athlete was on the front of it for a
yeah.
That was it.
Or even the whole McDonald's thing that happened. People were camped out McDonald's because they thought they were going to release his toys.
People were trying to steal the poster.
They did. I mean, again, I saw that on Complex. People were stealing, walking up to McDonald's, ripping off Travis Scott posters and running.
Like they
Now,
put that poster up only for you to come by and your.
you can't. Yeah, exactly. You can't promote it. Be like, oh, we know where you got it from. So, but yeah, the whole thing. We have nothing against them. This is a job, which is dope. But there's a certain point, man. Like it literally for people like myself and TJ who like to wear our sneakers. We wear our sneakers.
Yeah.
We don't just buy them and put them up and don't wear them. I think me and TJ were talking out of 550 pairs, between 10 and maybe 15 pairs I have not worn. That's pretty good damn odds. Like
duplicates.
like I'm just saying, like we like to wear our sneakers. Like it's just that, and it gets to the point where we can't get certain things.
No,
Like how we were able to at one point. We could have just log on to Nike or even sneakers back when sneakers first opened. Oh damn, I hit this. Now you can't hit jack.
I got him is a rare thing. I got him is like a 1 in a million hitting the lottery at this point. And for me, listen, I have people.
This is literally the most Gotham's I've seen in a long time, and it's on top of Complex's page.
Yeah, on Complex's page, guys. The whole got him is it's even that part was an oxymoron because no one's getting anything thanks to bots, and I'll have people come to my page and they'll even inquire like on YouTube videos, oh, do you think this shoe is good to hold, or do you think I should wait to see what the market does? Ma'am, sir, that is not what I make content for. I am not the person to ask. There are resellers that pop up day and night with YouTube channels now, so I would go and seek them out because I'm not concerned if a shoe is a brick or if it if it sits on a shelf. More power to it if it does. Guess what? People will be able to get it. I don't have an issue with that because every shoe in my collection, every shoe you guys see me buy, unless I am explicitly telling you I bought this to trade, I bought this and it doesn't fit right, so it's being returned or something of that nature, or I bought this for a friend, the shoe is worn. I have one dead stock shoe in my entire collection, and it's only because it's a double up of the Flint 13, so it will not be worn until the one that I have now that is actually being worn until that wears out. So I'm not somebody that is caring about a flip. And I find it really interesting too that, in this article, they touch on like the cost of bots, right? So you're renting bots or you're having to pay resale for a bot. So imagine this, you're paying resale to get into the resale game. So that right there alone tells you it takes capital to be in this. This is why not anyone can do it. Not anyone can do it well, and not anyone can just do it long term because it takes capital up front. So if your finances are not in order in the first place, I think you need to take a step back. Like maybe this isn't for you because there's a difference between reselling one or two pairs and buying somebody out wholesale, or you're trying to cop 50 pairs or something on a release day or around a release time, hold them, wait to see what the market does, and then you're taking a risk. The market can plummet.
Yeah.
And then you're doing what, right? So like I found it interesting. They were saying like bots can range anywhere from $1,000 to $8,000. So let's just keep that in mind because I'm thinking about the flip side of let's look at like broader America. Now I get it. We're talking about sneaker culture. So this is a much smaller niche that we would look at, but broader America. How many people are not in the best financial situation, especially right now with COVID extended and going on? So when you think about that, a lot of people are still in need of relief from the pandemic and life being turned upside down. And to think that there are people trying to get into this as their way out or as a way to make a lot of money, you better have that money already like there and set because, then they moved into, you doing this and you're taking this chance. My thought was this could work, but it's a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
If you just have that $8,000, like, first off, I hope that you manage money well. Couldn't you just throw that into an index fund and just like go about your business?
Yeah. No. Another thing is like everybody wants to become like a top-notch reseller. I'm going to give you a good example. Friend of ours, 2J's Kicks.
Mhm.
Now, I was with him in Dallas SneakerCon. This man spent, I believe, right under or about $900,000 in that weekend.
I remember that video.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But not everybody can do it at his level because, again, he's been around for a few years. He has big. Now, look at this. He's a reseller, right? He puts it out there. He's a reseller. He buys. He has his own store. He had a huge company like American Eagle back him. Like that's just like another. Let's simplify that a little bit. You have Goat. They're pretty much all resellers, right?
Yeah.
Everybody on Goat was resellers. Who backed Goat?
Foot Locker.
Everybody's turning into resellers now. Nothing against Foot Locker, nothing against Finish Line, nothing against that. There's a lot of people who've been posting that, hey, my pairs have been, cut off, or I'm not getting something. And this is me saying it, and it's just my opinion.
Mhm.
I feel that a lot of these pairs, a lot of these big companies have smartened up and like, well, we can make more money. We pretty much own Go app. Let's take most of our stuff. They're still, I feel they're still putting a lot in the stores, but they're putting a lot of them on the app
And,
because the
and I think I don't think you're wrong to possibly speculate that, because if you pay attention to how many pairs may surface on some of these secondary sites,
and a
like,
lot earlier than they should be.
or the drop.
Bingo. That's why I came to thinking this again. A lot of people, we know people that work for these companies, so this is all my views. And it's one of those like, how are certain shoes popping up a month, 3 weeks, 2 months before, and who else gets their inventory that early? Most of these big stores.
A legitimate source.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like they've smartened up, and there's also who else? Didn't who else? I think Stadium Goods got bought out as well.
I
Or
forgot.
is it Flight Club? I think Flight Club. One of them, some big company bought them out.
It might have been. Yeah. You know what? I don't remember.
It's one of them. Stadium Goods, unless I think Stadium Goods, either Stadium Goods bought Flight Club or Flight Club got bought out by somebody. It's one of them. Like some big companies are buying up all these resale websites and companies, and they're just smarting up. Like, hey, if people are making more money, why can't we do that?
I think I think it's basic human nature to want a piece of the action.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what we're seeing on Robinhood, right? With people that have never thought of investing, which
Well, I banked on GameStop. I was lucky. I sold that this morning. So yesterday when I started, it is resale too. So, I saw it go up. I put in a decent amount. This morning I cashed out big time because they completely stopped it. You cannot do any more trades on GameStop.
that's to save the
Let's just say I can buy myself a few extra pairs of.
Is now in, and if people have no idea what we're talking about, right? So a hedge fund company decided to take on a very large short position for GameStop stock. And if you don't know what a short position is, essentially you're banking on the value of that company continuing to go down.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're banking on. So you essentially, your short position, you're pretty much selling stock at one price. You're going to buy it back at a much lower price. And that difference between the two price points, that's where your profit is made. Mm-hmm. The only problem in a short position, if at any point, if that stock price starts to go up and up and up, your losses are essentially infinite. Like your losses could not stop unless somebody puts a stop to it, which is why everyone is up in arms about Robinhood, because they essentially put a stop to the bleeding for this hedge fund company. And so now the discussion is that even fair? That's kind of like manipulation. But also, if you want to put yourself in that position and take the risk, well, you can't control what other traders want to do.
Yeah. So I know they did it for GameStop. They did it for AMC. They did it for Express. They did it for the Naked brand, the clothing brand.
Yeah.
So even the Naked clothing brand, I bought 150 shares at 33 cents. I sold yesterday when it just skyrocketed. Or no, was it this morning? This morning at $3.30
So you made bank.
on just that.
Maybe, yeah, you
Gain.
bank on it. So I'm saying like so Robinhood, everybody wants a part of the action. And I think that's good right now. Like if you have the money
Yeah.
to go ahead and play around in it, I think it's good. I think everybody is kind of playing the get in at the right time, get out at the right time. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, that's just never been my approach. I'm the kind of person where I would honestly rather just ride the waves if I know things that will
Yeah.
continue to provide me returns like the S&P
I just got
500.
lucky. Honestly got lucky on GameStop because I saw somebody post and they're like, it's going up, it's going up. And I bought it at a few dollars. I think they went up $300 in a few
They
hours.
went up from nothing to 300, over 300 in like a
So,
period.
and I was like, oh man, I bought 15 shares and I think it was like hardly anything. And it went up to over $300 and I just unloaded. I'm like,
You're like, bye, I'm done.
so let's just say those 2 pairs of Jordan 1s that I don't have in my collection will be arriving.
Oh, they will. Oh, so now you all have an estimate of what he made. So again, people want to be part of the action, but I just think you have to be smart with that action. Like just because you want to dive in, like that is the one thing the article kind of touched on. Not at the very end, not everybody is successful. People take losses, and they were talking about the frustration that comes with it. And I think it's because everybody aspires to be a 2Js. They aspire to hit these massive I guess this massive amount of success from reselling. And again, it's kind of like you being really good at stocks. Like not everybody is, right? The people that are
Mm-hmm.
dabbling and doing well, understand this. There are actual real life traders where they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars hand over fist by doing this because they really know what they're
Mm-hmm.
doing and they're in a prime position to execute at a much larger scale. So that's why they do so well. But for the people that get frustrated from it, you expected one thing, you experienced another thing, and that's where your frustration came in. Now, what I would say, the one part that concerned me the most in the article, outside of just the fact that it just should not have gone out, they were talking about, credit cards and the fact that, you can use so many and all of this. And I'm like, listen, if you at any point get yourself into debt to try and resell sneakers or become a sneaker reseller, you have bigger problems.
Yeah.
Like you really do, because again, so if you want to look at StockX, because it's the market, it shows the volatility of sneakers. So it's showing you the risk. You could guess wrong on a shoe.
Yeah.
It not do anything, it not appreciate, it sit right at retail price. And there are shoes that have done that. And let's say you took out you put it all on a credit card, right? And you're banking that you'll be able to make that payment, you'll make everything back, you'll have a profit. But what if you don't? So now if you're carrying a balance month to month to month, you're now paying interest. So you're paying interest on shoes that you haven't even turned a profit on.
Yeah.
You paid yourself.
You're already losing whatever return.
Is already not the game for you.
Yeah.
So I think if people, please just don't go that route. If you choose
Yeah.
to a reseller, like with this article, there are already people so frustrated they're ready to walk away. There are people so frustrated with not being able to get a basic shoe. I mean, a basic shoe. Like, I would be curious to know what happens with this Carmine 6 release.
And that's a mass release. People are.
I feel like this. I mean, are we thinking Jordan 11? Like,
No, it's not. It's not that big. Well, since it hasn't been released in a while, I don't see it being a Jordan. Like I don't see it being in like a million pairs. Few 100,000 for sure. Because they come out the weekend of the 13th, right?
Just the day before Valentine's Day or the 13th.
Okay, 13th. From now until then, I see maybe 2 shock drops.
You think 2 shock drops?
I think so.
Expecting one. I won't lie. I was already expecting.
I think they low key they might be. I mean, you guys are watching this on. Well, we're recording this on the 28th.
So you watch this on Saturday, February 6th, just before the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So I feel between now and Saturday, they're going to be at least one somewhere. Again, don't quote me on this. I'm not sure, but if you see one, yeah. Well, it could be because the way I look at it is if an artist or somebody is wearing it there, most likely they're gonna drop it on Sunday.
I don't know who's the halftime.
I think it's the weekend, but I think he's signed with isn't he signed with Puma or something? Or he's with somebody else?
So to my knowledge, it's not somebody associated with Jordan Brand. It's not
Now,
like
if it was Justin Timberlake, I'd be like,
doing it. So
yeah. If it was Timberlake, I'd be 100% they're gonna drop it.
yeah,
But
it's not that. So I would say if they're gonna drop it, it would make sense. Super Bowl Sunday, there's a lot of hype
yeah, and then they're probably gonna do it again.
off that.
And
That'll be interesting. Like, think about it. If somebody can't get their hands, if they can't just walk into a store and
yeah.
pick up a Carmine 6 for themselves, for their kids, pissed off people.
And crazy part is baby shoes are reselling more, or even GS shoes are selling more than what adult shoes are selling for, which is crazy.
So the gold, the black, the white and gold Jordan 1 mid that came out recently for kids wasn't on the shelf in a week. It was not on the shelf longer than a week, and kids and infant sizes never sit ever. Like, we tell people all the time, if they come into Kids Foot Locker, you're trying to get a size 5 for an infant, first pairs to fly off the shelves. Like, you can't sit, you can't wait for that. Now, don't get me wrong, Kids Foot Locker, you have the ability to use the Kids Foot Locker app now to reserve if it's available in your area for if shoes are going to be there. So that's something awesome. But the frustration is so high, the tension is so high. People are so, I think they're just disgusted now with where the market is in terms of being able to get shoes. And I mean, I did a video about it where Nike, because they are in the business of sport. Now, someone and I were talking about this. Truly, Nike markets. They really are in the business of marketing. They market better than anybody else. Like McDonald's. Yes, they sell burgers, but McDonald's is better at real estate than almost any other fast food chain, and that's why they do so well. They know how to get prime location everywhere, so you have no choice but to frequent them. Nike knows how to draw you in with marketing. They tell an amazing story, and they're focused on telling that story on a global scale. So they're not concerned about your sneaker L's and why you're upset about that. They're doing just fine with you taking L's because the shoes still sell. They just don't get to you in the end. So Complex, listen, this article coming from me was unnecessary. It proved you are totally tone deaf to everything going on, that you getting clicks and likes and attention. Well, you're a media company, so you definitely knocked it out of the park there. But this was just for the culture, and I'm pretty sure none of us appreciated it.
I'm sure eventually they're gonna come back with a whole nother article like, "Hey guys, this is not what we meant by it. We're just
Save it."
Yeah, it's.
You're not sorry because you did it. You would be sorry for the backlash you received. That's how I would feel.
Yeah, and they're getting a lot of backlash for this. So
don't be sorry. Be smart.
Yeah. So other than that, any closing words, TJ?
The whole, we have to go about, I think, always one thing, rest in peace to Kobe, Gigi, and the 8, all total 8 that, we lost last year. I just think everybody, not just individuals, right? Not just those going after individual goals, everyone, brands included, be better. Read the room, read the country, read the world, read the space you're in, and just be better and be intentional about what you're doing. Again, just because you can do something, I don't think that means you always should do something.
Yeah, facts. And then with that being said, from the face that runs the place, I mean. So, now it's time to go back to daddy duty. I'm your host, AJ. Thank you once again for watching Mic'd Up with AJ and TJ. TJ, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at talks.with.tj, and of course, always on YouTube, Talks with TJ, uploading all the time. So please check in, drop a like, share, and all that.
And of course, you can find me either on the On My Feet app, which I do post a lot, and I'm actually verified on it, so is TJ. Yeah, so other than that, you can find me on Ty87 Kicks. Now you could even find me on my son's page, Cadence Kicks. Make sure you guys go, hey man, he's got 110 followers. I'm like, man, what?
Watch.
Killing it. But other than that, thank you guys once again. Make sure you guys download the On My Feet app on the Android and the Apple Marketplace. Until next week, where we come back with another juicy subject. And yeah, see you later.
Peace.